What's up, everybody? Welcome to the season finale of season 2. Last week we had Vikram, the man who's going to build a whole country. This week, again, we are going to end off the season with a rose among the thorns. We have a female founder, a person who's going to come on the show and actually explain to us the essentials, the importance, the key to building communities. So without further ado, I would like to invite Shilpa. Come on in, Shilpa. What's up, Shilpa? How are you?
Nervous.
Awesome. Welcome. Have you done an ice bath before?
No, heard of it, but not done it.
All right, first time. All right, this is going to be fun. Again. All right, so without further ado, let's get in. It usually starts with an okay. Tell us about you, tell us about your story, tell us about the communities that you built. Tell us about your story.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Shilpa. Last year I started a community called What the Fail. The reason was that, I had been running fuck up nights in Singapore for about 2.5 years until COVID times. And when I took a 2-year break, especially in Korea, a lot of people still came back to ask me like, hey, can we have more conversations about failure in Asia? And I thought, hey, actually we're at the right time right now because there's a lot happening in the world, but again, we glorify so much of success, but that is really just 1% of what we see that's happening in the scenes, right? And even for the 1% to get there, so much happens behind the scenes. So I started What the Fail with one mission, which is I wanted to change how we feel about failure across Asia, one conversation at a time. And currently we've been doing it in Singapore and Seoul, and we are expanding to India later this year. And besides this, I have also been building on top 2 other communities. So one of it I just launched last night is called Kali Club.
Oh, nice.
But the work for Kali Club has been set in place since 2017. And the entire philosophy behind it is that, we want accountable transformation because we want to work on change, but we know how hard it is. You're so excited at the beginning of setting your goals, but most of us don't make it by the end of the year. Why is that? And that is really because there's a lot of science behind resistance to change from our bodies. And when we work together with other people, you're more likely to succeed. So if you read James Clear's Small Habits, etc., they talk about accountability making a big difference. So I've been working on a life design community since 2017 and putting all this work of the last 7 years into this new program. So we just launched last night and really excited about it. And the last thing I do is that, like you said, today is all about talking about community. And there's an evolution in how companies must connect with their consumers because the expectations of what they are looking for with the brands they're using has evolved.
Nice.
And that's really where community becomes super important for your growth and scale. So I've been doing consultations called the community-led growth consultations. And that also took off earlier, like Q2 of this year. And I've been working with a few companies since then.
Awesome.
So this is what I've been doing. So I think if I were to summarize all of it and how they all come together, end of the day, my value and purpose is really to make impact with people, whether it is directly with them or helping companies to make impact with their consumers and their communities. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. So guys, hey, let's say if, for instance, me, I would like to be part of What the Fail. Where do I find you?
Yeah, so What the Fail right now exists as a newsletter on my LinkedIn page, but we also have our events on Luma that we share. We have upcoming ones actually at Draper House, end of this month in August, about fails, about community building. And at the same time, we are also launching our Instagram and YouTube.
Nice.
So we are also launching our podcast on Apple and Spotify. We are launching our first season with about 12 episodes coming out.
Amazing.
So yes, find me.
So guys, remember, catch all of that information and come by for What the Fail. Let's talk about, I think, something that you actually said, growth, right? So an interesting quote that I believe, without a community, you might have an amazing product, but you have nobody to sell to. But with a community, you can sell any product to them. So how do you envision the future of your community?
I think not just about my community, but if I were to just generally look at the trends of how community is becoming more integral to businesses compared to, let's say, 5 years ago. And that's based on those principles I'm building my communities out as well, which is that in the past, you could have a really good product and people would come and buy it, right? The last few years, at least in the last decade, we heard a lot about human-centric design and designing products around the needs of your customers. But if you think about where the world is right now and where we are progressing towards, what we notice is that products are easily replicated. right? Anyone can copy your idea in a minute. So why would people be part of your system? Why should they use your products? It really boils down to two things. One is, do they identify themselves as what you stand for? And two, do they feel connected with other people who are part of this, environment or ecosystem or community that you're building? So Jack Ma from Alibaba called this the network effect, because people used to also ask him, Alibaba's products can be easily replicated, are you not afraid? And he said, no, because I've built an ecosystem that'll be very difficult for others to replicate. So for me, what I really believe in now, and that's also why I'm helping other companies do this, is that for a long time, people have seen community and they think events. And it's not. That's like the biggest myth I want to break. Community is like anyone who is interacting with your brand and have a particular experience with it. And so this could be your end users, it could be your ecosystem stakeholders, anyone is there.
Yep.
But then I think the main issue or challenge that a lot of companies are facing right now is, how do we ensure that our brand, our sales, our marketing, our content, and our offline and online events that we are hosting have a very seamless strategy that would lead to certain business outcomes. So whether it is leading to top of the funnel generation, or whether it is retention or getting referrals at the bottom of your funnel, that's really where, when you're building your community, we need to have better strategies. And it needs to go beyond just organizing a lot of events.
Yep.
It is really getting your community manager to work cross-functionally across your sales, your marketing, your brand team, and even with the C-suite, to really understand what is the business vision that we stand for. Because the second aspect of community-led growth is really the personal brand and stories of the leaders of the company. Because if you look at a lot of stories and brands that are coming out in the last 1-2 years, the main difference that you see is that the stories of the founders is just as important as the products that they're building. Because eventually what is going to become irrelevant is exactly what type of products that you have, but more so if I believe in you enough, I will trust what you put out.
100%.
So that is the main evolution that we are seeing. So whether you're a B2B founder, whether you're a B2C founder, whether you're a D2C founder, honestly, if you as a founder are not there telling your story, what you stand for and why you need to exist, they can easily find someone else with a similar product, right? So that is where the niche becomes really your storytelling, your ability to connect, your ability to give them value by them being in your space. That is really the evolution that we are seeing with communities.
Thank you so much for that. I 100% believe in that because I have first-hand experience as well. I've been in the startup industry for 7-8 years. And just a little background is, I used to be in a stage where I think my product's the best. I don't need anybody to tell me otherwise, and I can definitely sell this. And nobody bought it. And I still kept building more products and trying to get the best of the best, but no one bought it. But then I realized, hey, if no one knows that you exist, or nobody believes in you, nobody follows you for a purpose, then whatever you put out, people are going to question, and what's better than yours than anything else in the world.
Yeah, honestly, what I've also noticed is that you don't have to be the best product.
100%.
What people are looking for is when I am interacting in your space, how does it make me feel? And why would I want to continue being part of this space?
Yep.
Right? So if your product is good enough, and then you're able to offer them other experiences that would add on top of the product that you're building,
right,
that is really the magic formula that I feel that if you want your company to have a sustainable, long runway, that is something that we really need to focus on.
Talking about experiences, we are going to get an experience right now. So are you ready to submerge part of your body into this?
I feel like you can't really prepare for this.
We can do two things. Either we can submerge or we can kneel. So if we kneel, we're just getting it up to here, which I'm going to do.
I'm a Scorpio. So I'm just let's just try. And then if I feel like I'm dying, I'll come back up.
All right, let's do it. Oh my God.
Oh, that's actually
kind of nice. Good. I'm going to stay here. All right. Okay. So talking about experiences, the next question would be, in your journey in building communities, what was one memorable experience that you had?
I think there are two things that come to mind quickly and that make me really believe in the power of communities.
All right.
So one of the first ones was when I was working at E27 way back in 2014, 2015 era. And we were thinking of bringing E27's community event called Founders Drinks, where we wanted to bring the ecosystem together over drinks
Sorry
at
to
the
cut
bar.
you off. What is E27?
Oh, E27 is actually one of the largest tech media companies that came out of Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So E27 covers media as well as events. Also, I think what they're really known for is connecting the ecosystems. So I was there back in 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And at that time, they were just really starting to scale, and the next evolution of the company, right, was the next level of growth. And they told me like, hey, we need to go to new markets, but we don't want to spend so much money. How can we make this happen?
Okay.
And I had seen this model happening in the States where you would find people with similar value systems, and then you see how you can support one another. So you keep the cost low, but both of the parties can actually get a win by bringing together what they're trying to achieve for their businesses.
All right.
So what I did was I looked at the markets we wanted to expand into. I can't remember if it was Myanmar and Brunei, if I'm not wrong. And what we did was that I just started talking to a lot of people who are already hosting and bringing people in the startup space together.
Nice.
And then I was able to find 1 or 2 partners who were able to come along and say, hey, look, I will sponsor the venue. I can be the MC, I can help you with the marketing. And almost at $0 spent, we were able to go into new markets, right? So that really taught me that when it comes to community, it's really about finding people with the similar value sets, because then you're in it together. And it's not like, I'm doing this for you, what do I get out of it? But it's like, we're doing this together, what value are we bringing to the ecosystem?
Yep.
So that was one thing. The second one was when I was running my live design communities. At that time, I wasn't sure if this was going to have a longevity to this project. But when people were attending it, and then, after they attended a few times, they started sending me messages like, hey, I actually managed to find the courage to change my job. Or like, I have walked away from a toxic relationship that I've been holding on to. And it made me realize that sometimes in this world, when we think of success as like, I raised this much or I'm making this much money, it really goes to like, what impact am I making on someone else's life? So it also helped me to redefine what I would think of as success for my community metrics.
All right, Shilpa, thank you for that, guys. A lot of great info. So I think definitely we can learn a thing or two from Shilpa's experiences and advices. So this is a tradition on SIDE Chat. Basically, we have the last founder leave you a question.
Okay.
And your question was from Vikram. And his question was, if you were to build another startup, for your instance, would be another community, what would that be?
Actually, I have been thinking about this. And earlier this year, I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Okay.
And I'm one of those like late diagnosed women.
Okay.
I initially didn't want to believe it because I thought it was just like a scam. But once I really started doing my research and I started changing my lifestyles, I have been able to do a lot more in the last 6 months than I have in a long time. And so I started talking to a lot of other people, and I realized that a lot of executive women and also like a lot of founders, we share these traits, right? And I realized that if we are able to pull together our resources and share our insights with each other, we can become even better and do a lot more than we think that we can. Because honestly, dealing with ADHD, I thought it was about being hyperactive and stuff. But I also realized it's about energy management. It's about decision-making management. Really understanding how to design my day to suit when it is my peak performance period and stuff. And when I talk to others, I realize that a lot of us already have created various frameworks that has helped us move forward in our lives.
100%.
And I'm just thinking, hey, what if we were to bring this together into one space, right? And we support one another through these journeys, because being a founder already is hard as is. I also know that in terms of lifestyle, it is almost as taxing as being a founder. And so I really wanted to focus on, support for ADHD communities.
Very nice.
And if I could do it, that'll be it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Hey, I have ADHD too.
Oh,
but
see? I knew it.
high five. So, but it's if you take it as a gift and you know how to work around it, it's going to be the best gift you have.
Yeah.
And it's going to propel you further than you think it can. Now, Shilpa, we're going to wrap up the show. What would your question be for the next season?
The question is, in life, we usually get a lot of advice from people who mean well for us. But on hindsight, we realize some of these advice that we listen to might not have panned out well.
Okay.
So the question is, what is one advice that has failed you in your life?
Oh, I like that question.
Yeah, and this can be for your professional or personal life, but this is something that has failed. This is an advice that has failed you.
With that, let's wrap up this whole season. Thank you, Shilpa, for being on the show. You've been an amazing guest. Oh my God,
I might not actually get out of this. This is really comfortable.
All right, we're going to leave Shilpa here for a bit until the next season comes in. Thank you, guys. If you have any other founders, entrepreneurs you feel that you want to, put them in the call with me, let us know and we'll be there. All right, see you guys.
Bye. I'm just going to stay here.
All right. Oh, man, I hate it every time.